recording. Okay. Cool. So you want to talk about this a little bit, or do you want to go into it?
Um, well, I fucking hate this matchup.
Sure. Most Falco players do.
Yeah, I think I forget who put it best, but in particular it's always the secondary Falco that's beating the Falco main
Yeah.
because secondary like they know how to deal with lasers and stuff and it's just like it sucks and I feel like I'm really bad at like lasers. I feel like my punish is not like as good as it needs to be. I feel like a lot of like my just decision making in general is just really poor. And I think that's because like I kind of lack like a super concrete game plan. Like I feel like in other matchups I will have certain things that I go for and certain situations that I'm looking for
Uh huh.
and capitalize really hard on those situations.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Falcaditto, it's just like, okay, let's not get fucked over by lasers. Let's not get super tilted and let's like hit as hard as I can. And I feel like that's like just kind of general things that I'm going to be doing anyways.
Sure.
So just I don't know. I don't feel super confident in the matchup.
Okay. So what you think you mostly don't understand is like the laser stuff.
Um yeah, I feel like a lot of the time I will go into a laser situation and I don't know if it's like my execution being off or it's my decision making.
Okay.
And I
I
kind of want to
see.
distinguish that.
Okay. I see. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look then. Okay. Little baby audio.
I think the recording's muted.
Oh,
So
okay. Well, that's fine. Which port are you?
I'm port 4.
Okay. Okay. So I remember also last time before we got into it. I remember last time we also talked a little bit of like laser options. You
Yeah.
remember? Like the laser and then you turn around up tilt, or like beating high and low lasers and like resetting laser control. Have you
Yeah, and a lot
worked
of like the
on?
full jump stuff.
Yeah, have you worked on any of that stuff?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, and how's that been going?
Um it feels like I'm not doing something correctly. a lot of the times, like when I will go for these options, I feel like, obviously my only Falco Ditto practice right now is versus leftovers.
Right.
I feel like he just kind of does the repeated, like, I'm going to shoot lasers as fast as I can when I'm like being hit by lasers, or he'll do like the same couple of options that I'm not doing. And I feel like no matter what I do, I still lose these situations.
Uh huh.
And that's what like I was talking about earlier when it was like, am I like fucking up my execution, or am I like choosing the wrong options at the wrong time? Am I like tunnel visioning on these options and I'm just like not doing the right thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. Yeah. Okay. So I guess we're gonna try to mostly look at your laser options. Okay. Let's see. Well, like, okay. So for example, you like did this laser, and then you like
Yeah.
went a dash dance, and then shot another laser. But like this first laser hits, so it feels like you could capitalize and gotten more stage. So
Yeah.
he like
That's another thing we talked about.
yeah, he like jumped into this laser. So really, you could have like you had time to capitalize because once you could connect the first laser, then they have to do something to like. Then you have the laser control. Unless if they do something like a full hop or like just hard call out your next laser, then you have the laser control. So they can't really just like tank a laser and then start lasering back. Generally, if you connect the first laser, you're going to be ahead in the laser game. So after
Mm-hmm.
connecting this first laser, instead of jumping back with this laser, if you jump forward with this laser, you can see, the other Falcos like even in shield. So you could have gotten like laser grab, or you could have gone into a shield pressure sequence, like laser and then just walk up and JC shine their shield would be both really good trees.
Okay.
And then like, but you backed off and you kept shooting lasers, and then whenever you came here, you just like came right into the range where you have to play around. Like, this is like, I mean, as it happens, the other person full hopped off the side platform to hit you with this down air. But approaching with this laser, whenever you were no longer covered by your laser hitting, see, you hit a laser
Yeah.
and then you did laser in place whenever you full hopped over it. Whereas if you had gone in right after the first laser, then you would probably already be over here. You'd be in a position to like up tilt a down air attempt or something.
Yeah. Okay.
So it looks like you aren't really necessarily recognizing whenever your lasers are hitting. First off, second off, you like ran right into the threat range of like where they want to be. You know, like what we talked about before, where people level one thing look for is like shield drop aerials and just like jump off, short hop off the side platform in aerial. And if they just like short hop from right here, wherever you're lasering right here, would just get hit by neutral air or down air, right? Like
Yeah.
you can see if
Okay.
you just like if you just short hopped and aired from dash short hop and aired from here, and you were right here, you would just get hit. So if you're going to laser, then you have to be cognizant of that distance as well. And basically, if they're on the side platform, you should want to be like basically instinctually recognize the threatening range they have off of the platform, because this is a big opening that people get all the time, and they also give all the time. They just like jump off the platform and do an aerial.
Yeah.
This is like basic advice that Magi always gives everybody. When she like draws this triangle around, or like this kind of like slope around the side platform, is like this is what you need to be outside of, unless if you're going to hard read a timing, which is also acceptable. But yeah, you can
Yeah.
clearly see how like whenever you like did a forward laser, one, you weren't covered by a laser hitting, so the forward laser became more dangerous, and two, you walked right inside of that platform range.
Okay. Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
You're just slow on this. I think you should have had the advantage.
Yeah. I probably should have shined.
Yeah. Or you could have dashed
I,
away. Dashed away would have worked too. Um, Crossing up Falco Shield is a little bit weaker in the Ditto compared to crossing up other characters, just to note. Because, I mean, here it would have put you in center stage, so it's kind of okay. But Falco Shine is bigger behind you, and a lot of time crossing up Falco can be kind of dangerous. Not in this situation, but in other situations, because a lot of times you cross someone up and you put yourself in the corner. So then, like, if you like, so you do this cross up, and in this situation, even if the other Falco had just rolled left, then it's just like, oh, okay, there's nothing here anymore.
yeah.
That's just a little thing to look at. But yeah, the main fault there was not that cross up stuff. It's just you weren't really good on your execution. Yeah, and then here you got, I mean, the other Falco just like won the RPS, right? But you didn't.
Yeah.
But it hurts you because you did an approaching laser. If you had done this laser in place, maybe maybe this doesn't happen. Probably this doesn't happen because you were like right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were like right here. So if you were like right here, as you did this laser in place, you'd probably laser him out of the air, and then you'd be okay. So you got punished. So this is the second time you got punished for doing like approaching laser. Didn't Echo out of Shine properly. Okay.
Yeah, it was just executioners.
I think this laser is a little weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I like tried to get the laser towards him. And it just like messed up somehow.
Yeah, I feel like, gosh, what even happened to the Makey laser here?
Maybe like snapback?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I even feel like after this down air, watch again. Yeah, I feel like you could just do a regular tech chase here.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a little bit better. Because the laser is not, like, high reward by itself. Yeah, then you can see you're doing all of the lasers here. So what's the difference here? Like, you did this approaching laser and it worked, right? Well, this time it's because, like, you were covered. You hit the other person first with the laser. So each one of those times you're able to approach after connecting the laser. But whenever you whiff the laser and then you still just like autopilot and then you dash forward with laser, then you get punished for it.
Okay.
I think you're a little slow to get hit here too. Right here. Yeah. I'm not really sure why you were turning around, but I think you're a little slow. I thought I saw like a frame or two where you're standing still.
Yeah.
Dashing away or shielding would have been okay. Nice.
Mess that up.
It's fine. Okay. Yeah, like right here, like this is something you need to be recognized too. Like you probably, maybe you meant to grab. Did you mean to grab the ledge for this backward short hop?
Can you back up a little? I don't know.
Yeah. So this is something you have to recognize. This is something I get on Josiah a lot about, which is like, right in this spot is like, you hit this back air, you immediately grab the ledge. Why? Because I know at this point they're going far enough off stage that if I grab the ledge, I can cover pretty much everything.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like Marth. It's just like whenever you hit the space animal off stage, you just immediately run off, and then you run off first, and then you react to where they are later, because it doesn't matter like so much exactly where off stage they're going to go at first. You just know they're going to be off stage, so you put yourself preemptively in a position to cover it, and then and then you react to it afterwards. So immediately after getting this back air, this backward short hop should have been to ledge, and then
Okay.
like you were like dicking around doing this stuff, but like this back air sent so far off stage because the other Falco's DI was so bad, you could have definitely just grabbed the ledge and then not had this happen.
Yeah. So yeah, just like poor awareness on my part.
Yeah, definitely just like move into like, so that has to do with kind of like playing at the next step. So it's just like whenever after you hit that back air, you shouldn't be like the grabbing the ledge already covers the next step. It's like you need to be playing the next interaction, whereas you were
Okay.
still playing the current interaction. Nice. That was good escape. Nice. Yeah, you see how you did like a tech chase here instead of like just lasering stuff like that. It would be a big reward.
Oh no, that's the other Falco.
Oh, whoops. Okay. You see how I did that? You should like go for that instead of always doing a laser.
Yeah, I should do it the other Falco.
Okay. That was kind of nutty. You could have forward smashed also.
Yeah.
I think the shine makes it kind of weird because like if you're gonna shine like this, then you don't have momentum. So like if they DI the shine away, which they're likely to do because they're teching away, then it's like it's kind of awkward. What would I do here? What would I do? Or what would I like to see a Falco player do in this situation? I mean, I see this DI and I'm just like, I want a forward smash. But if you don't want a forward smash, I think nairing is pretty reasonable. You can go for a nair here. Or maybe you can like, maybe if you like dare here, then you can get like a platform tech chase, but then you will have more risk on them being able to SDI the dare and then still land on top platform. I like forward smash. I don't blame you for going for an extension. I think Shine was the wrong extension.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, let's see this. Okay, so you both got hit. And then... Okay, so here, after you lasered, you just didn't go far enough forward there. You did a shallow dare, and then you autopiloted the shine. As you can see, it just like... And then, like, I mean, Falco shine's really small, as you know. But, like, even in other situations against other characters, people SDI this down air. This is when you could have down tilted, for example. I don't know if you ever do this, but whenever you see Falcos do the down air and then they down tilt afterwards instead of shining, it's specifically because they are playing around the SDI and down tilt goes a little further. It's still going to combo, and like if you drift back like this, then it'll still reach. Like down tilt would have hit here.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure, sometimes you have to roll and be like that. Yeah, again, like this is all like side DI on these shines.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. Let's see. Okay, so I guess you weren't ready for the slide off, is what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so got a back air here. I guess you expected like a tech chase right here, and you just wave dashed back and jumped. It is kind of weird because I think this is not looking at the screen mostly because you're like up here. It is like kind of weird to be up here, especially considering whenever you jump empty like this, then I mean the other Falco could have just snared into you here, right? I mean, he still could have just snared into you. if you're right here after the slide off, a lot of times. So, what are the number one things people do out of slide offs?
Hold shield. Probably like Falcos can like slide off laser. Um, Sometimes they'll get like really aggressive out of the slide off to like catch people off guard.
Mm-hmm. When I think of slide off, I usually think of like people sliding off mid combo like this or like after a hit like this. I think of the most common things I think of are they're going to slide off and they're going to mash an aerial. So like they would slide off and then down air right here,
Yeah,
or they would slide off and then like shield, or they would like slide off and then roll. That's
yeah,
usually what I think of. So like I think if you were like positioned, well, you would have to be aware of the slightest possibility. But I think if you were positioned like right here, like you wave dash a little too far. If you were like right here, then you'd be able to whiff punish the down air, and you'd still be in a position to like cover roll, and also do shield pressure if they're to shield. Yeah, that's just a double jump rate. That is reasonable. That is reasonable to do. Nice. That was really good. So this is like whenever you played around outside of that, right? And then you got it.
yeah.
But we kind of picked a whack aerial. Oh, down air would have worked here. Down air would work
Yeah,
here. The neutral air is like, well, the problem with it, right, is that you're doing a full forward like this. So it's like, well, you probably can't get crouch cancel shine because of the location. I mean, you got ducked by the down tilt. But even
yeah,
standing up, I feel like they can still just crouch cancel you. So going down air here instead would be good. The neutral air at low percent is mostly like it's not the worst thing in the world but it's like it has to be done as a as like a as like you're reading a jump because obviously they can't crouch cancel in the air. So if you see yourself do this neutral air, then you really have to like ask yourself is like, did I think that the other Falco was going to jump here? And if the answer is yes, then it's like, I mean, okay, well, you just thought that was what was going to happen. Maybe we can go into like why you thought they were going to jump and why didn't they jump. But overall, I think like yeah, that's the type of question you have to ask yourself. And I think the
yeah,
Falco player is less likely to jump. Why? Because they just down aired right here. So that means they're probably going to, and it missed. So either they're going to shield, or they're going to shine, or they might dash back. But if they dash back, it's like, basically, it's all like grounded options. So the neutral air probably isn't very good.
yeah.
Let's see this down air.
Yeah.
This is very early down air. You could have shined out a shield for sure.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know what you tried to do, but you got shined first.
I might have tried to shine out a shield.
Yeah, it must have been slow. Nice. Okay, that was good. Sure. Oh, that just barely. That just barely did.
That situation right there with the
That just
lasers.
yeah. But you can see the difference here, right? So if you remember game one of the Fountain game,
Hmm.
where you got nared a lot for doing this laser forward, but look, the other Falcon's doing the laser retreating, and then you see how that makes a difference because you got
Yeah.
lasered instead of like as compared to if Falco had done a laser in place or a laser going forward, forward laser like you were doing a lot, then you would have just nared him in the face. Nice. Yes, good confirm. That's good. Nice. Sure. Yeah, nice. You played around it again. Oops.
Right there on that situation, right there. I keep trying to do this like runoff plat turnaround laser, but right now my controller, the stick is super loose, and so it won't return to neutral fast enough, and so I have to delay it.
Uh huh.
And a lot of the times the delay will just
Oh,
screw
you're
me
trying to
over.
do the turnaround laser here, and then the
Yeah.
laser didn't come out. I see. Yeah, I see.
Um, but I've been getting those more recently,
Yeah, I
so
think that's really good.
yeah,
I mean, you can see how the laser would have won and stuffed his laser if it had come out.
yeah,
It's a good thing to go for. Obviously, like practice it, or I don't know, like controller stuff, right?
yeah. Get a new
So
controller.
yeah, I don't know, like but that's not like always the most viable option, right? It's just like yeah, just have a good controller, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. But we can look at this. Where so what did you try to do after this laser? What was your plan? What's your plan the spot after this laser? After this
Let's see.
laser hits you. We're about to see it. So this laser don't see lasers hit you. What's your plan? What are you going to try to do here?
I think like with this kind of range, the Falco will probably like want to move in, and so I might like try and dare in place. I have no idea what I did in this situation though.
Okay, but I mean my point here is really just like, do you have a plan to answer laser in this kind of situation or this kind of range?
No, not like in terms of when I'm playing in the match.
Uh huh.
I think like during analysis I can like come up with something,
Yeah.
but
Okay. And
while
you
I'm
could
playing, it's like fuck lasers, and I'm
yeah,
not
and
like
you
really
could
thinking
see
it.
how this gets you in trouble, right? Because
Yeah,
that's how I can tell. Like you just kind of get lasered, and you're just like, did nothing, and then you just get hit.
yeah,
So that's kind of like how things will end up if you don't, if you're just like, oh, on the fly, instead of just like having a immediate like habitual or instinctual response to lasers. It needs to be anything other than like stand still and take it.
okay,
Because like obviously that's just like what nets Falco players like really lazy openings and leads to people complaining about Falco like oh like so brain dead like you just laser them until whatever.
yeah,
Whereas like if you have like a solid plan that you know what you're going to do, then it makes all difference. Because like um when I see this laser situation, I think turn around and up tilt,
yeah.
and you can see how this would have worked.
It definitely would have won.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you turn around and up tilt here, but you weren't really ready for it. So like, this is obviously this is like one of the things I suggested you work on. But more important than just like, oh, this is something I told you to work on. It's just like the importance of just like knowing what you're going to do when someone shoots a laser at you. If you're going to like, you have to know like if they try to shoot me at this range, am I going to power shield it? Am I going to like shield it and then wave dash out? Or am I going to shield it and jump? Or am I going to take it and then dash? Or I'm going to take it and then turn around and up tilt? All these things are very important because by the time you have, because like this is like the lazy thing, right? Where they just like literally just like laser nair. This is what you see like every like every basic Falco, right?
yeah,
Laser, early nair. You could have even shielded, and you probably would have been okay.
yeah,
But the only bad thing, unacceptable thing to do is just like, oh, just take it because you're basically you weren't ready to answer the laser in that scenario. But if you're playing against
yeah,
Falco, you need to know that you could totally get lasered and know what you're going to do in response to each laser. If you were ready for this laser, then you would have won this situation easily.
okay. The bad downer.
Yeah, but like, I mean, even here, it's like you see how just like immediately shield after getting lasered. Like that's a
Okay.
plan. It may not be the best plan, but Like, it's better than doing literally nothing.
Yeah.
That's a good job. Oh no, missing text. Nice slide off. Okay. That's what you get for double lasering.
Yeah. I do it again.
Punish for double lasering. Yeah, so you're like always trying to. Yeah, you're like trying to laser too much in situations that are on your face. Like, this laser's a bad choice, right? This is also kind of like not paying attention to the screen. Because the Falco's already on your ass.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be trying to laser here. I mean, the jump is like, honestly, watching this situation, I probably would have wanted you to dash back. And then you could like dash back, and then you could like whiff punish this. But laser doesn't make sense. You jumping is like fine if you're already going to jump. Maybe you committed to the jump a little bit early, but here you could have like back aired instead of shooting a laser. That would have been okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's already in your face, so like lasering is pretty bad choice there. Probably again, like I said, this is like not really a looking at the screen thing, because you saw okay over here, so I'm going to like, so you thought, oh, they're still going to be around this area, and I'm going to laser them, but you can see like how far from the actual case that is.
Yeah. I just kind of like underestimated the drift.
Yeah, and this also ties into kind of what I was talking about towards the end of last game, where it's like, oh, you have to be playing the next interaction, or you have to be playing on the next page. You were playing the situation your laser was playing is, if I am right here and they just landed right here, then like I can try to laser them. That's the situation you were trying to play. But by the time you land here, that situation is already over. The other person is already moving, so you need to be reading like, or like trying to anticipate what is their next option going to be. It's not about what they've done like right now, it's about what are they going to do next.
Yeah.
So this is like something that I quote Drug Fox on commonly. You've probably heard it, but again, melee is all about either you read their option and you get a punish, or you react to their option and then you try to punish the next thing that they do. Can you see?
Okay.
Can you see how that is relevant to this situation right here?
Yeah.
So right here, I need to back up a little bit. So right here, you can either you could read right here whatever that they're going to like jump in back air here, and you could just fall through and then down air right here immediately. Oh, that is what
Yeah.
you did. Surprise, surprise. Who wasn't looking at the screen now, Howard? Or you could like read this timing and you could just like up tilt here immediately.
Yeah, I probably should have done that one.
Or you can like react, and then see, and then it's like you were like trying to laser a landing, but it's way too late to be doing that. If you wanted to be laser, you'd be lasering forever ago. I mean, honestly, you probably need to be lasering like right now.
Yeah, I think that was just like poor reaction time on my part, because I definitely tried to do the dashback laser on that aerial.
Yeah, so this is like you laser here. It's like at this point, you can react and then try to see what they're going to do next. So after they land, what are they going to do? I mean, they're probably going to shine, or they're going to shine or jab or jump, probably. So it's like I would just pick one of those three things to cover. But like, yeah, I think the laser is not very good. This is one of the few tolerable alternate skins. I hate alternate stage skins so much. You know, there's this like, you know, the HD Dreamland with like the fucking
dude, that
mahogany,
one's hideous.
the mahogany whispered woods
so gross,
and the crazy
man.
looking like beautiful stars. I hate that stage. There's something about it, dude. HD melee stages just don't look right.
Yeah,
I need my pixels like, you know, you could make like these a little more defined, but like This is like a tolerable. I hate the fucking like HD Dreamland. It's so gross.
Yeah, it definitely looks kind of nasty.
Okay, so again, yeah, it seems like you just get tilted because you don't really have a plan for getting hit by these lasers.
Yeah, I'm probably like really pissed off at this point or something.
And it also hurts you again. Notice you just like all your lasers are going forward. Even that one is like
Yeah.
slightly. You really need to have a plan for whenever you get hit by lasers. So it's not just about like, oh, like I practiced my take laser and then do this thing. You also need to decide in what situation I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you think about like when players first learn how to deal with lasers with dashback, they just dash back on literally every single laser. And yeah, it's not like perfect, but when you first start dashing back on lasers, it probably works like fucking amazing. Well, I can tell you for sure that for me, when I first learned about and started doing it, it was fucking amazing. Why? Because I had a plan that I was doing in response to literally every single laser, which is a whole lot better. Like, and having the wrong plan, or a plan that turns out to be wrong in some situations, is still a whole lot better, as it turns out, than to have no plan whatsoever.
Yeah.
Nice. Ooh, I kind of like that. Yeah, trying to laser too close again here.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
just
it seems like you aren't even really thinking about the distance here, right? And it's the same thing with like the next situation thing, which is it all ties into like looking at the screen, considering the next situation. Because like right here, you're like, oh, I'm going to laser, as like they try to like fall through the platform. But you can see like right here, like you kind of get that, you do get that, but then it's just like, what's going to happen next? You weren't really ready for it, so you were just like, oh, I'm going to keep lasering. But after you lasered them, you could have totally gotten like a shine or something, right?
yeah.
So like,
Yeah, like right there, I could have like run up JC Shined.
yeah, exactly. So this is a situation where you need to see like the steps of like what's the next thing that's going to happen. And this comes through, obviously, like I'm not telling you to consciously think about it, but this comes through like practice and a lot of experience playing. Like I'm sure after, if you're like actively paying attention and you do analysis regularly on this kind of opening, like, oh, why did I get hit after this? Then you would see like, oh, this was a hole in my game. It's like I've seen this situation so many times, and you would just instinctually, just after you hit this laser, know to go in afterwards. Or you could have even nared, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you could have
Yeah,
hit with like literally
definitely.
anything, right? So like having a plan for what comes next based off of your experience. I don't know if it is helpful to you at all, but Falco's double jump is the same as Fox's double jump. So every time if you can double jump sweet spot the ledge with Fox, you can kind of do it without. It's harder. It's harder with Falco. But if you can like aim it generally, then like
Yeah.
you would see like, oh, if you think that Fox's double jump wouldn't sweet spot here, then you should not do it. And you can see like your double jump was like a pretty fair amount too high. Like you double jump to right
Yeah.
here, so you need to go a little bit lower. I don't know if the Fox thing helps you. The Fox thing
It
helped.
probably doesn't. I don't play really any other characters other than Falco.
Okay, that's reasonable, but it helped Magi a lot when Magi was like complaining about the double. It's like, Fox and Falcon have the same double jump, right?
Yeah, just fucked up the ledge stall there.
Yeah, you're just trying to ledge stall so you could ledge dash. Probably that's fine. So like again, this is like spots where you keep lasering when your opponent is too close. Like you know intuitively already through playing people that like actually be a safe laser, you need like a pretty large amount of space.
Oh yeah.
But so like this laser was probably reasonable, but I think you fucked up by like trying to go forward with it again. Like, see, like imagine if you had lasered in place, like right here, you would have been fine, right? Just laser them out of the air.
Yeah.
But you can see like the difference between where you started and you jump forward right into the back air because you're not respecting the range off of the platform.
Okay.
Whereas remember the interactions on Battlefield where you did respect like they would do like shield drop there right here and you dash back, and then you would get a punish. That's the kind of awareness you need to have around like the top platform as well, but just like platforms in general. Yeah, and by the time you're trying to laser, like it's too late, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
even really make sense to laser here, just because of how close your opponent is. Right here.
That was definitely a pretty desperate downer.
Well, like it was actually pretty good, but you just fucked up a little bit, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
so like this interaction. I mean, just describe what happened on this interaction for me here.
Well, I mean, I was just trying to laser my way in. I was just kind of like waiting, I guess. A lot of the times, like when I'm shooting lasers, I'm waiting for them to commit to an option or to like get stuck or something.
Uh huh.
And I got antsy, and so I threw out a down air.
Well, no, that's not what I'm talking about, right? So tell me
Oh
like
yeah.
tell me about the moves, right? So starting like right here.
I'm not quite sure I know what you mean.
Okay, so if I were to describe this interaction, I would say that you I would say that you lasered in place, then you dash, then you lasered in place, and the other Falco blocked it. Then you did a dash forward short hop laser, and they shielded it. Then you dashed, danced once, and they whiffed the shield grab. And you dash dance an extra time, and then they got out of the situation. You tried to and then you tried to down air in after your second dash dance. They were able to get out.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
So what killed you here, right? What made you lose your opening? You were talking about how you were like waiting. You're like, oh, I'm trying to laser my way in, which makes total sense. Laser your way in, of course, very reasonable. Uh, and until they get like stuck or they commit to something. Well, there it
Mm-hmm.
is, right here, right?
Yeah.
They shield grabbed. So this dash back was excellent, but the subsequent stashes, like right here, if you had just aerial immediately, then you would have won, right? Look how you
Yeah.
do the extra dash. So shield grab, in. You see how you went back? How you went back one more time?
Yeah.
What if you had just gone in right here with the down air? It would have whiff punished for sure, right?
Yeah. It sure would.
So it looks like this is like a screen looking thing, right? Where it's just like where you say, "Oh, I was looking for an opening," then you were given an opening, but you still didn't take it because I guess you weren't really like in your like training or in your mind you're just like, oh, like I have to find an opportunity to hit him, and then the opportunity comes and you weren't really paying it close attention, so you do this extra dash because of like some sort of like weird autopiloty thing, and then that
Yeah.
causes you
I'm
to
just
lose the opening.
because like a lot of time like I'll get like lost and just kind of focus on my execution or like focus on like what am I doing right now instead of like caring what the opponent is doing.
Yeah, because like this is like definitely a very autopilot dash dance. And if you're really like if you're paying attention to what your opponent is saying, then like you could see the first dash was enough, but you autopiloted super hard on the second dash, which is why you didn't get the punish. And they just dash back and get out of it. Again, this happens because you're doing a laser forward.
Yeah.
This laser is more in place, but you can see how you'd like try to jump forward.
I was lazy.
Yeah, but okay, so look, this is really good. So the other Falco made the same mistake as you, right? So we're looking at laser interactions, right? So try to laser, and then you just nared in the face.
Yeah.
So you should give yourself credit for stuff like this. And that's the kind of thing you should be looking to replicate. So like look at this situation again. And this is like kind of goofy, but like I personally think if you're like watching a game and then that you played and you're like, "Oh, I lost like every laser interaction," what you should probably try to do is you should watch it from the other person's perspective and just flip it around and just like pretend that you're them and just be like and like in your play just try to be them with how they approach laser interaction, because clearly they ended up doing something right there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good. That was fine. I think that forward smash is reasonable. Nice. Oh, that was almost so good. Oh, okay. We're not gonna worry about this. Anyway, so here, and yeah, so you see your mileage comes from whenever you hit a laser and you confirm, you do much better. So you're already right here. This is a great spot for you, and you get a shine. So you're fine whenever you actually hit the laser, but you mostly seem like you're pretty lost whenever you don't hit a laser, because
Yeah.
that's whenever you start like doing meaningless dash dances or like doing a really greedy laser forward. I mean, doing a doing like an approaching laser with Falco is like I mean, a lot of people will probably call it like brain dead, but that's probably like one of the most like balls out like super aggressive approaches you can do. Like
Yeah.
right, like it beats them running away, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Right? If they do any sort of hitbox ever, it beats your laser. Uh, if they do, if they like counter laser, then it could be okay, I guess. If they like shield, then you've approached with a laser, and okay, if you get close enough with laser, then you can get laser grab. But otherwise, if you can't get like a true laser pressure string, so either like laser grab or like a laser JC shine, then they're still pretty. I feel like they're still pretty fine. So you do these like really really aggressive forward lasers, and it's like and they're really risky, and it's like, oh, why am I getting punished for it? Well, you're picking a more inherently risky option, and they aren't like dashing back. You'd be safer if you did these lasers in place or backwards,
Yeah.
which is like you kind of ask yourself, well, like how am I ever going to approach if I'm only in place? But as you can see from a lot of your openings, let's watch a lot of your openings do come from, and a lot of the other person's openings do also come from just like connecting from in place lasers. Let's see. Hopefully, the next one will illustrate my point, because I guess I'm just see in place laser.
Yeah.
You can still get there. That's kind of funny. Yeah, I need to work on that.
Yeah. I
Sweat spots.
I had them down for a while, and then I got confident, and I never practiced them since.
Yeah, and usually whenever I feel like I have something down, I'll just like try to weave it into the rest of my practice. But
Hmm.
obviously, if you don't fully neglect it, and it's not a big deal, you just like notice it's like, oh, I'm missing this a lot now. I just need to go back and work on it a little more. Yeah, so you did forward laser again, right? You got clipped.
Yeah, it's
Same
the same
platform
thing.
range. Whereas, like this, you can like stutter your lasers too. Like you don't have to do a full forward laser. You can do like jump forward and then drift back. Kind of like the down air, but with a laser instead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, look how well that one worked out. This is a really good laser. And it was done retreating too. So yeah, you really want to reconsider probably the you do so many approaching lasers and you got hit for them a lot, and you also try to laser a lot whenever kind of because it's safe right now, but is it going to be safe on their next action is kind of the question. And the
Okay.
third thing is really having a plan for dealing with the lasers because when you get lasered, I see you just like standing still a lot, and that's probably like worst case scenario stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Um.
Cool.
Well, do you have any other questions or ideas?
Um. Hmm. I guess one thing is you talk a lot with me about how I'm trying too hard to think during a match.
Yeah.
And in a lot of these situations where I was like kind of caught and you says like, oh, like you just like weren't looking at the screen.
Uh huh.
Um am I like supposed to be conscious of like these things at all times? Like am I supposed to be looking at these situations and like going like, oh, I need to do this now, or like, oh, I need to do this? Because I
Um.
find like a lot of time like when I don't, like I get fucked over for it. And I'm not sure like what is the medium or like what exactly I'm supposed to be doing.
So let's pick a situation. Um. No, which situation to pick? I guess okay. The best way to draw an analogy is like your combos. Like whenever you combo someone, you react to their DI, right?
Yeah.
Of course. So, but do you ever like combo someone and then like at each step, like after you shine them, you're like, okay, now I need to do this. Probably not, right? You just like
Yeah, no.
know what you're going for and you go hit them. And then like well, of course you're still like looking at their DI, but you don't need to like consciously like evaluate this is what the next step should be. It is subconscious, but yet you are looking at the screen and reacting to their DI. Playing neutral by looking at the screen is very similar. You should almost never have some sort of like conscious thought process that says, okay, right now, this next laser, I'm going to shield it, and then I'm going to wave dash out of shield. That shouldn't be like a conscious thought process in your head. But what it can be is a situation that you recognize where, I play Magi a lot and I get lasered a lot, and over whatever time, I've realized through looking at those games that at at this range on this stage, at this percentage, I should be is like I should shield this and I should wave dash out. And I recognize that. And eventually my body recognizes it too. As long as I see it, then my body will just do it. But I need to be looking at the screen still for my body to know what to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
So it is. So yeah, I think the comboing analogy is the best one because I mean all of it is reactive, but that doesn't mean that the thought process has to be conscious. The thought process only needs to be conscious whenever you're learning it and practicing it, and then once you get to the point where you're trying to execute it in the game, then you just let your body do it.
Okay.
And if your body can't do it, then it's just like, well, I mean, I guess it's like if my body can't do it, then it's like okay, I guess I lose it because I didn't practice it well enough. My body clearly doesn't know it, but at least that's like a very clear indicator of what went wrong.
Okay.
So it's definitely not the end of the world. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of another good way to put it because I feel like I mean, while I do feel that the analogy I put with the comboing is the best one, I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it like raw. Um,
No, I think I understood you.
okay, that's good. Yeah, definitely don't be afraid to ask me more questions about that if you feel like you want some more elaboration on it because it's like super important. Yeah, yeah, okay. So here's a good way. So it's just like um instead of focusing on like doing any one particular thing, uh I just look at them and based off of where they are and their percentage and their character, of course, I instinctively I instinctively guess what options I think they're going to do, and then I pick an option that I instinctively know through my practice that beats the option I think they will do. So of course I need to look at them in order to do that, but it's certainly rooted. All of the execution side is based on your instinct.
Okay.
Yeah. So whenever I tell you like, oh, you're thinking too much, uh, I mean is that what I mean is that like, whenever you're trying to do things, you are doing too much. You, it means you aren't letting your instinct do it. You're like too much like letting your conscious mind or whatever take control of what you should be doing, and I think that's no good. But
Yeah.
yeah, but in terms of like, yeah, you get it.
Yeah. I think my main issue is like I'm able to quantify it like in my head. Like, I feel like I know what you're talking about. It's just like putting that into practice just feels really weird.
Yeah,
Just like making myself like think in certain ways. Um, I don't know. Yeah, that's just like
yeah. So
I
that
don't really
does.
know where to start.
Yeah, so that does kind of beg the question that you just asked, right? It was just like, well, if I'm, it can feel kind of like a catch 22 because it's like, oh, like, well, then what am I supposed to do here? Um, what do I like to do? I like to do like drills. Like this is the best one. Like if you can get like you could do like okay, you could do like 20xx recordings, right?
Yeah.
Where it's not hard to like have a Falco just set up to like laser near at you, and then you try to answer it in various ways, and then train your muscle memory that way.
Yep.
Or you can get like a dedicated practice partner, and instead of like playing games, you would say, "Hey, can you just laser near at me over and over?" And I'm going to try to do this thing.
Okay.
I mean, there's a reason why, like, and like this is why I also like talk a lot of shit about like how melee players practice because like people just like fuck off and play friendlies, and it's not just about like, oh, they're like not taking things seriously, not taking improvement seriously, but it's also just like, I mean, in music and in sports, like how many professional how many professional like basketball teams do you think just like, okay, for practice we're just gonna scrimmage, or like for musicians like, all right, for rehearsal we're just gonna play the whole piece through.
Yeah.
Like it's clearly silly, right? All of them like have drills, they you know, you practice your scales, or you practice your free throws. All of that is it can't be neglected, instead of just like playing a full scrimmage, which is like a horribly long feedback loop.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So yeah, how if I wanted to like try to implement looking at screens in my practice, if I were you, is one, when you start playing friendlies, instead of like trying to focus really hard on doing any one particular thing, just try really hard, just focus on like looking at their character and trying to guess what option they're going to do and picking an option that beats that option. It will. I can assure you that you will be wrong sometimes, but it will come more naturally than you may think. Than you may think, as long as you accept that, like sometimes you'll be wrong.
Okay.
Like being wrong sometimes is pretty inevitable. It's just gonna happen. Where it's just like, oh, I thought he was gonna do this thing, but he did the other thing and I lost. Or I thought my thing was gonna be his thing, but actually lost. You just have to like be at peace with the fact that this is just like a facet that you're learning. But in your practice, instead of like, you know, you were, for example, your laser dash dance situation earlier, where the other Falco whiffed the shield grab, and you just like you did the extra dash because you were like not paying attention. Uh, that's like the kind of situation you would strive really hard to not fuck up, because you would be paying attention instead of like being caught up in your own execution.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, and then once you do that, and then once you have like a good set of ideas on what you want to do in those situations, if you feel that they need refinement, then you can do those drills we were talking about. But yeah, just start off by just like really trying to pay attention, just like look at your opponent. What are they doing? What do I think they're going to do next? And instinctively respond to what you think will beat it.
Okay. Um. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that all helps, and you'll be able to implement it. I think it's obviously like a pretty tricky thing that a lot of people don't, a lot of people don't do this, but it's really important, and it will also, in my opinion, probably help you understand the game a little bit better too, because you would be able to start like describing these scenarios with like actual cognizance on why did I do these things, and why is my opponent doing these things, and what did my opponent do. Once you can like see and know those situations, like what's happened, then it becomes much easier to improve, because you can actually explain the reasons for doing things.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Well, I think that will be it. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.